Welcome to the Garth Riley Show. Today we're talking about, here you are, baby boomer, getting ready for retirement. Some of you are actually already into the retirement years. And have you found out that it was a kind of a big wagga wagga? What I mean by that is it isn't exactly what those life insurance agencies were trying to tell you. My guest today, Isabelle St. Jean, has written a book that is really dedicated and directed to the boomers. Let me read from her actual one sheet. It said, if you're part of the boomer generation, you may wonder what happened to the collective identity we shared a few decades back. And since then, some of us have engaged in our spiritual growth and remained devoted to realizing the visions of a peaceful, sustainable way of life on Earth. Others experience midlife as a time of feeling overwhelmed, restless, and ill at ease, below the appearance of conventional success. Mm-hmm. This is really the people, you're talking about my generation.
That's right.
Yeah. What happened to us?
Well, I think we got dispersed, and some of us, as I say, some of us got very busy trying to make a living and doing it at a rate and at a kind of pace that wasn't conducive to staying in touch with who we really are deep down.
In your book, you address these issues in almost like a workbook format as well, because you ask at the end of every chapter, it's kind of like a test, saying, what are you thinking? Where is your mind at? We're asking for reflective moments. Quite frankly, you're asking people to reflect where most people, the only reflection they've seen is perhaps that in the mirror or a taillight. Really.
That's right.
What is it that you think that is you had a lot of stories of people's lives in here? What was the thing that you found overwhelmingly true? Were people really searching, or were some people just all of a sudden shocked that they got to the end of their life and went, uh-oh?
Well, as you say, there are many different stories. And so what struck me is that there are people who missed some opportunities that presented themselves. I have a story of someone who was working in a field for a couple of decades where he didn't really belong, and he felt that the true gifts that he was supposed to work with in the world were left behind, and then getting that sense of calling, in your mid-40s or early 50s, that you've got to do something else, go for it, because that person is now in his early 60s and with big regrets and still wondering what he's going to do now on the verge of retirement. The other thing, too, is that there are stories in there about some people live with a grudge about something that happened, maybe a relative, that a little mishap, and then they've been holding on to that for years. So I tell the story, a beautiful story of forgiveness, and forgiveness is actually a powerful healing force. And that's something that's also important as we get into the older years. We have to make sure that we find a way to flow with and let things go, and not hold on to grudge and anger and all these things that can damage our vitality and our health over time. The other piece that I'm mentioning there is that when people prepare for retirement, evidently they are thinking about their financial security. But part of what I point out is that, at that time of life, there's another kind of currency that presents itself, is time and your use of time and your use of energy. How are you going to use that in a way that makes you feel fulfilled? And so the book offers a way, some tools, some concepts, some insights that actually can help you to enter into that reflective time that is necessary when you are around the middle of your life and start looking back, and then you're looking ahead.
You would think that financial planners that are doing this, really it should be almost incumbent upon them to say, I know you probably don't want to talk about it because you're wondering whatever investments you have left, are they going to get you across the finish line? And by the way, who the heck knows where that finish line is? But, are you going to feel fulfilled? It's a question I've had in my life. We talked before coming to the air, like what do I know? When is enough? When do I have enough? And I've, for those people that had health challenges like I've had over the years, I've been on that doorstep a couple of times wondering if I'm going to make it or not. And, I realized that it was important to me to have family and friends and all that kind of around, and money certainly didn't matter. So, because I knew I wasn't going to be able to take any with me, I was done, I thought, but I'm still here. But then I quickly got back into the race. Got right back in and said, okay, I'm going to make it up for my kids. I'm going to do something to leave a financial security. But people, you encourage people to leave more of a legacy which is really what, at your death's bed, if you have that moment to reflect, almost everybody really has that thought.
Oh, absolutely. You really want to know you made a difference.
Right.
And like you're saying, you had your kids. That was the motivator for you, right?
Yes.
Well, in there I have a story of a man who retired and who started doing some volunteering in high school with special needs teenagers. And he was saying, you know, I start there and I tutor them and I help them with their homework, but we start developing a relationship, and, you know, it's really nice. I can feel that they count on me to being there. And when I get up in the morning, I know that someone's counting on me. So that's that sense of social utility
Yes.
that is so very important, or purpose, if you will. And it's part of what keeps you alive in those years.
We don't have anybody coaching us well to this level. We hope for our pastor or our spiritual leaders. But, you know, really, they're guessing. And if it's a 40-year-old guy or 30-year-old guy, you know, like, theory to him or her. So what you have done is created this book that really will help people, so a practical guide to fulfillment without going off on the woo-woo channel. I want to compliment you on there, where I didn't think, you know, I was going to have to, you know, walk on stones and be able to worship some third world God. What I mean
I
by
don't
that
even
is,
say the word God once in there. You know, it's really...
it really is more about coming home to yourself.
Absolutely.
I greatly encourage people to get a hold of this book. I think that if you're in the financial services business or you have anything to do with people that are migrating their health or wealth to the 50-yard line and beyond, this book is a must. When we come back from break, I want to talk about the idea that we could actually change the world ecologically, because, you know, this is now we've kind of messed up, our baby boomers have messed up the ecology. What will be our legacy for our children? And you have some great theories on it that can maybe help us maybe undo the doing that we did. We'll be right back with more of Isabelle St. Jean right after this break.